Welcome to the Maverick Nation. Video start. Intro. Start. 3, 2, 1. Whoa. 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 Hey all, hey all. Welcome to the greatest storm. I know, you have waited much too long. I am your shining star. Let her conquer fear and fall like a storm. I run to the heat of day. I'll fight till the fire's won. In rage, I'll save each and every one. War is won, and then through a sword, crashing through the every inch of power of you, and then the name of my command, my kingdom, I of the wind. Hey all, welcome to the end is near. From the day and fear the ground to the sky, faced with you and I, the flash, I'm gone, holding your crown high, and rage, I'll say, each and every one. This war is won, and after the sword slashing through the every inch of the power in you. The Savior's hand, laid by command, my kingdom, I the wind, not of the wind. And I of the instruments a massive force over all the power. Nothing unshakable in the hour. Video start now. This video being, what if Izuku was the meta part 4? Yes, part 4. I believe last part was the mock battles, because I talked about how Izuku and Kellerana were going to be in a team, and Bakugo and Tucker were going to be a team, and that's how Tucker was going to figure out how much of a D-bag, how much of a D-bag Bakugo is, and, they'll basically make their own little friend group. Even Carolina, knowing how Tucker is, it would be their own friend group, so Izuku would be in there as well, so it wouldn't be nearly as bad, is what she's thinking. And, Tucker will be Tucker. And plus, you'll have, the AIs, plus, all the other blues. But, the main friend group we have, forming here. First the homance, Izuku and Carolina. Then the bromance, Izuku and Tucker. And Tucker's quirk is an energy sword. And I believe that Awash was the one who had speed. Carolina was the one who had, the defense. Let me look. Okay, let's see. Wash, strength, speed, durability. Carolina, strength, defense, durability. So, Wash had speed, and Carolina had defense. So basically, and kind of figured out that the whole durability part of Carolina's quirk is basically like an extension of the defense part. So, it's an extension that was created over like a period of training. Very special training that Carolina put herself through on purpose. I guess I forgot to leave out that part. That one little detail, tiny detail, it was, special training put through on purpose. Just in case you guys thought it was, like, forced or anything. No, it was put through, on purpose. Carolina wanted to do the training, specialized training. So, yeah. Basically, being paired up with Bakugo is how Tucker figured out about how much of a D-bag he is. And, in figuring how much of a D-bag he is, that's how Tucker, basically, the whole bromance thing started. Yet, it is paired up with a homance, being, Carolina's in there. So, yes, the next thing being USJ. Oh my god. I may actually steal some stuff from Cyber Dragon, just because, well, you guys probably want me to have, like, at least one moment where the Reds are in this story. And I think, like, if the Warthog was in this, like, some Warthogs, oh god. Oh, that would be a freaking, that would be a field day for my entire mental psyche. Just letting you guys know, as of recording all this shit, as of recording all of it, I have not eaten yet. But that's how much I love you guys. I didn't even eat breakfast yet, and I'm recording this shit. I'll probably have eaten breakfast by the time it's all, out onto YouTube. Maybe, maybe not, probably not. I'll still, probably just automatically upload it as soon as I'm done with the last video. Just because I'm that freaking insane. And actually, maybe I might eat breakfast during, like, one of the things where it's, like, uploading. And, like, during, like, uploading and processing. Who knows? I've told you guys this in the past, I'm a wild card. But if you guys think that I'm, like, purposely endangering my own health for, like, no freaking reason, or, like, I get off on this shit, no and no. I do this because, number one, I enjoy it, and number two, I enjoy it. Basically, it's more content for you guys. And three, both those reasons combined into one extra reason that being the third reason. So, yeah. Don't fret, guys. I am perfectly fine. In the whole hunger department. I will get something to eat whenever this all is, the correct time, whenever the time is right. There are certain days where I eat a lot, certain days where I barely eat anything. That's just how I roll. Like I said, wild card. Basically, besides all that, basically, Izuku, and all of Class 1A, whenever they get instructed and told, we're going to be doing a field trip to the USJ, and basically everyone's like, what the beep is the USJ? Like, that's basically something that church just blurts out. It's a church. He's just like, what the beep is the USJ? And, like, I was just like, oh my god. He's like, it's the, whatever the frick the USJ actually means. It's that. And we're gonna be doing, like, rescue training and shit. Well, you guys are. So, yeah, basically have fun with that whenever we get there. There's a bunch of different areas for a bunch of different types of rescue training. So yeah, have fun with that whenever we get there. All you guys. And, well, basically whenever they do get there, and 13 is giving her spiel, and then all of a sudden, basically, the doors slam shut, and the lights are turned off. It's basically like, what the shit? Like, is this part of the thing? Like, Tucker would be you would literally be asking that, like, what the shit? Is this part of the thing? And, it would kind of be absolutely ape shit, because the next thing that would happen is a portal would open up, then another portal behind that portal. The first portal, like some misty dude would come straight through there and charge straight through, automatically KOing freaking 13. Basically, KOing freaking the hero 13. And then, like, trying to start a brawl on with Aizawa, who's trying to protect the students. And he would break off of Kirigiri whenever Kirigiri started to pull all the freaking warp gate shit. Purposely getting out of Aizawa's way so that his quirk wouldn't be cancelled out. And, he would just basically warp everyone around, basically Shigaraki and Nomu, like, Shigaraki would be like, Nomu, kill them all. And, there would be some fodder villains decorated around the freaking place. And, all the students that would have been teleported through the different areas. Seeing as, it's the romance and the homance, Tucker and Carolina would also be, teleported to the shipwreck area. They would both be there, and they would realize Izuku was there, but also Mineta. Actually, no, Mineta's dead. Shit. But I'm the fact. Well, Asui would indeed be there. And she'd be like, Ribbit? What's that? Ribbit? Basically, Asui would get scrapped by some underwater villains, just like puncturing through the ship. And then Carolina would be like, well. And then Tucker would be like, why are you looking at me? I'm not. It's just, you seem to be in the way. I was trying to look at Izuku. And Izuku's like, well, why don't me and Tucker do some co-op while you help no student ends up dead policy of mine? Like, make sure no one ends up dying by rescuing Sue. And, like, Carolina's like, oh, actually, pretty good plan. Okay, so, up, and then just dips in, like, straight through. Like, the actual way the villain used to get up, she's actually using to go down. And, you know, she just finds the villain, and the villain's got, like, Sue in a lock. Like, like this. And, you know, Caroline would just be like, oh, we're gonna be doing this today. And we'll just end up being like, okay, buddy. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. And she'd be saying this while floating very safe and soundly in the water. And as some water villains would try to come up and surprise Carolina, Carolina would just be like, bam, bam, bam. Like, just swat them away like they were flies. That's the strength enhancement part of her quirk. And after the durability and defense, because as some other guys try to come, like, flank her from the side, and they would actually get a few good hits in, the durability would kick in because, you know, external forces like water villains. And once the durability kicked in, you would get, like, the full force of Carolina. And once you get that full force, you get a very deadly opponent. Or otherwise known as your worst nightmare. Like any villain's worst nightmare. And like whenever Carolina kicks into full gear, she is literally a weapon to be not messed with. And she even makes it to where, like, she's batting people around so hard that she actually is able to shoot herself in the opposite direction until she puts a hold on the villain that's putting a hold on Sue, like, gets behind that villain and puts a hold on them, causing them to literally, like, conk out and release their hold on Sue. However, Sue's actually pretty damaged in, like, you know, the jugular area. So she's finding it very hard to talk. She's barely able to, you know, bring a like a thumbs up. And, you know, Carolina's like, brings her all the way up to the top of the ship and be like, you did good, kid. You did good. However, we can't be dealing with this like it's just any old normal thing. These are real villains. And, you know, that would be made evidently clear the moment, like, Carolina started, like, activating her special defense, also known as her durability. And basically, you know, with all that going on, like, she'd be wondering, where are freaking Tucker and Izuku? And she'd also be realizing, wait, the brute shot's gone. Oh my god. Oh my god, no. Basically, Tucker would be like, this will be a great idea, don't you worry. And Izuku would just be like, Tucker, the more you say, don't you realize the more you say that, the more we're going to worry. And Tucker wouldn't even question why he said we're, like, more than one person, because he knows he's talking about the AIs as well. Tucker just knows. Because at this point, everyone in Class 1A knows. So basically, what Tucker's about to do here is, well, if you've ever played TF2, rocket jump. Yes, he's basically going to pull a soldier and use the brute shot to rocket jump. And just like, boom! And send himself straight up into the air. Why is he doing this? Well, basically, a bunch of villains are coming up on, like, all different sides of the area. And, just as, the Nomu started to thrash on Aizawa, so Shigaraki's able to sneak up on him and pull his whole decay thing, like decay part of his arm. That gets canceled out completely whenever all of a sudden, coming down from the air, like, bam! A literal flying Tucker, like, smashes into Shigaraki. Like, it kind of hurts Aizawa too a little bit, but, he's just at least glad he's not getting decayed anymore. And so basically, like, yeah, Shigaraki would be unconscious. Like, legit unconscious. Unable to give orders to the Nomu, so it would just be ravaging about like a insane beast. Like, literally a blind animal. Naruto OST reference. And, Kirogiri would be like, who did that? And then Tucker would be like, I finally gotta make use of this. And be like, you would see on the other side, like, he's on one side of Kirogiri, and on the other side, all the way over there, is Church. And Church is, like, giving him the okay. And Tucker really doesn't know why he's giving him the okay. Like, he knows how bad Church is with his quirk. And so he's gonna prepare for the worst, basically. So he just goes charging in with his sword and like shing, like straight into like the piece on Kirogiri, in which like basically you could call it the pain beacon of Kirogiri, the pain beacon. And, just goes to slice in, and then at the same time, whenever he's sliced in, like got a good stab in there, basically, Church will project his AI all the way inside of the pain beacon, like Kirogiri's little pain beacon chest piece, and he'd be like, "What the? What did you just do?" And Church, through his AI, would just be speaking to Kirogiri, like, while inside of him. So basically, he would be seeing Church at all angles, like, everywhere he looked, he'd be seeing Church. He would just basically be like, oh, nothing, I just projected my AI inside of you. So, seeing as me and my AI have to connect at a certain point in order for us to not completely be disconnected, about now, one of us is going to be pulled towards one end, either me towards my AI, or my AI towards me. However, using a special support item, I'm able to control the way in which that happens. I pressed a special button before, projecting myself. Well, my AI, basically. And the special button I pressed was for automatic, well, technically semi-automatic attachment via body of host of AI. And basically, Kirogiri putting 2 plus 2 equals 4. He's about to get Tucker, like, not Tucker, but Church, like, seeing Church from all angles. Basically, he's about to get Church flung straight at him. And at the exact point to where, like, Kurogire's, like, stood still, to where he can't move, like, his AI projects itself back into him, and Tucker will, like, freaking, not Tucker, Church will have a fist, and be like, BAM! And just, the impact would be so great, but he kind of can't really move backwards because, like, the sword is in there. So, his body and his quirk just shoots him straight up in the air. And, like, his physical form just slams onto the top of the roof. And it just, like, falls straight down on top of his head. All the way to the floor. So yeah, Kurogiri just got his freaking shit wrecked. So yeah, Church and Tucker are actually working together. And actually, Tucker even compliments Church on, well, even though you needed a support item to do it, you were finally able to, get around to actually being able to functionally use your quirk. Like, not like have it crap out on you every single time that you're not touching a solid surface. And the way Kurogire's body works, it's kind of not like, it's kind of like only semi solid. So even the piece is kind of only semi-solid. So it still would have half crapped out. Like, part of him would have been able to move, but the other part would be completely limp. So yeah, that probably would have been like an extremely painful experience for Church. But no, Church, he's like, I had to kind of make this, like, on my own. Like, OMO. I had to kind of make this OMO. With materials only I could find, like, in only places I would look. So it actually took quite some time to find everything and, like, make it all into, the piece you see right here. He just opens up, like, using his AI, and you just see the piece, and, Tucker's actually like, wow, Church, you're actually not that bad. Can't believe we always, like, gave you the shitty end of the stick. Now I feel like an asshole. And, Church would be like, reassuring Tucker, no, Tucker, you're just a perv. The asshole here isn't even here. The asshole is Sarge. And he's not even, like, a part of 1A. Little do they know, after Ida scampered off, basically, where else is Ida gonna go? Like, could actually try to find the heroes, but on his way to do that, he got interrupted by the Reds. And so the Reds ended up figuring out about the whole situation, and, well, basically, Sarge would be like, Griff Simmons? And Griffin Simmons would be like, what? And Sarge would just be like, get the Roadhogs. And, it would just be like, oh dear God. And Ida would just be like, what the frick is a Roadhog? Now, I'm thinking of Lobo's vehicle. The Warthogs, not Roadhogs. I'm thinking of Lobo's vehicle. The frickin' DC. Shit. Why did I keep on calling it Lobo's vehicle? So, yeah, basically, all the warthogs, they would be like, get the warthogs! There would only be two of them, but you would only really need two of them. And obviously, Sarge would ride shotgun in one of them. And so, basically, just be like, and arm them with the, correct and proficient gear. And, they would just gear up the warthogs, and, send them out, and then just drive. They would just ride like no tomorrow. It was like there was no tomorrow at the moment. That is until right as the Nomu is about to deliver like a finishing blow to somebody. Like about to freaking Nomu smash. Bunch of Roadhogs, like 2 Roadhogs, like come through, like just smash through the doors. You need to like holding on for dear life. Because he was like, I was not like wanting to be a part of this. And basically, one of the Roadhogs would be like, grappling hook. It was like, shoo, and like grappling hook attached to the Hayanomu, and just be like, now you turn. And Ida would be like, is that the signal? And then Sarge, being such an asshole, would be like, what do you think is the signal, turkey legs? Yes, it's the signal. And Ida would be like, oh, shit, Respiro burst. Just get out of there. Like, fall on his face. But it would be a Respiro burst, so it would be even, like, worse damage. And, like, basically, by doing a U-turn, they went all the way and sunk the Warthog into the water zone. But, the Warthog would take with it the Hayanomu. Because right now, seeing that the brain of the Hayanomu was exposed, the other Warthog would be like, activate the absolute weapon. And if you're wondering what the absolute weapon is, it's still something I came up with. Basically, it would look like a freaking microphone attached to a freaking baton. And they would just be like, absolute weapon activated. Now, what the hell do we do with it? Oh god. I'm afraid to actually say. Besides Simmons and Griff. Oh yeah, Donut and Lopez. Basically, Donut and Lopez would be like on there, and so basically Donut would be like, thank you, Lopez. Now I know what it's for. Like, beep. And Lopez would be like, that's not even what I said. But it's all in Mexican, like, frickin' Spanish language, so nobody can freaking understand what he's saying. Because, it's Lopez. And plus, he's with Donut, so what did you think was going to happen? Basically, at least Donut learned, like, the correct button to press. And when to press it. Whenever Lopez said something, like, if he says anything, just press it. As long as it's aimed at the target. And basically, from Ida, they got the basic idea of what the Nomu looked like. And so basically, they aimed it at the high-end Nomu as it was sinking, and right before it got submerged completely in water, it was like, "It's firing time! Absolute weapon, fire!" And then, like, just like, the only thing left. Well, there wouldn't really be anything left because the absolute weapon is literally the absolute weapon. Like, the the freaking like staff of UA would have no idea how they actually managed to find it. Like, apparently the absolute weapon is supposed to be villain tech. They don't know which villain organization or if the villain organization that had it is even still around. But the absolute weapon was supposed to be like an automatic death thing that killed everything in its wake. Originally, the the alternate death weapon thingy was a part of a robot. I had it like as like a cannon sort of thing, but then they figured out like since the robots were like gaining sentience through the AI, yeah, that would be a bad move to have. The automatic death, the literal thing that they were calling the automatic death. Strapped to something that was gaining sentience through the AI. So, like, basically, the robot that had the automatic death attached to it would be put in stasis, and, very carefully they would remove the automatic death and put it somewhere. But that was, like, a while back, and, like, God knows what happened to it since then. And basically later on, whenever like everybody was getting questioned, like, and like how exactly were you able to attach it to what do you call these things, warthogs? Okay. Anyways, how exactly were you able to reattach it to something? And basically, Donut described the way he did it, and the only way Donut would know how. It's like, I just did it. Donut just, like, has no explanation. And any explanation Lopez would have, like, Lopez already knows they won't be able to understand him. So, like, what's the use? And so, after all of that, jazz, basically, the dorm system is employed. Basically, it's like, all the dorms are put in. There are dorms for the boys and dorms for the girls. That's basically what's said. And, also, like, hero names and plus, like, hero agency and, like, an internship at it. Like, which hero agency are you going to go to and, like, intern at, that thing. But before that, like, we need to figure out, like, hero names. And, it was actually kind of super easy for Izuku because, well, there were really only 2 names floating around. Unless you count the one Sarge gave him. Which, well, he doesn't count because he hates, like, he doesn't really hate him, but he just does not like Sarge. So, yeah, there's only really 2 circulating around in his head, like Deku and the name that he heard himself being called back in, like, his very jaded past. But hey, if you forget your past, you're doomed to repeat it, is something that Izuku's also heard. Izuku liked to take that to heart. He liked to take the whole thing about not forgetting his past so that he doesn't repeat it. So, because of that, instead of taking on Deku, he basically decided that he was going to give himself the hero name The Meta. And people would need to ask him why The Meta. And, well, that's basically the explanation that he would give them. That, just not to forget his past, so that he wouldn't repeat it. In any shape, form, way, or fashion. Though he does remember, the guys from there, because he's seen them before. And that's actually a part of his jaded past that he's not supposed to forget. Since he didn't really show signs of, a developed quirk, or, basically he did, but it was only, bubbling to the surface. It wasn't actually out there. They basically took him somewhere, and it turns out it was being run by villains. And, well, basically, so Izuku just decided to blast himself out of there. And that's how he got the brute shot and this cool armor. So, yeah, now that people are a little bit more aware about some of the more things that he likes to keep secret, Izuku's like, oh god, what's gonna happen now? Anyways, the agency he ends up going with is still Gran Torino. Yet he's able to basically get Gran Torino a lot easier now because, well, his brain is able to, calculate things a lot better. It's be able to tell, Gran Torino's movements. Kind of like whenever Goku was, training with Korin, and he's read my breath. That was what Korin was telling him. Telling Goku. And so, yeah, basically, you could basically read Gran Torino because of, the processing skill of, all of the different AIs together, that what they could do, with all the processing skill. And so, yeah, I'm basically going to stop it here, because we got the USJ, and we got Izuku's hero name to be, and now we are just now on the cuffs of entering Gran Torino's training, plus the whole Hosu City deal with Stain and Ida. Oh my goodness. I'm Xeon Analysis, go to the direction. I'm having his OUT out of here, you boys. Favorite, freaking subscribe. Comment section stuff. Bye.